The PNP loved the poor so much. They froze their wages and taxed them on top of that. Hey everyone, welcome to the Skywalker commentary again. Thanks for stopping by. Let's talk about who is for the poor. Because for so many years, one political party always claimed to be for the poor, and many people are brainwashed into thinking so. This party simply loved to have people being poor and dependent so that they could manipulate them and keep winning elections. With more people being educated, the PNP's days of manipulation and propaganda are numbered. Definitely. They say Jamaica was PNP country, but that was before people could read the fine print. Before the poor got Wi-Fi and started Googling their own history. Before the slogan started sounding like scams. Now that literacy rise, the facts start to clear. And when the facts clear, you don't just see potholes, you see patterns. You see Nirary Farm, housing trust, wage freezes, and healthcare threats. You see a party that loved the poor so much they kept them poor, not by accident, by design. Mhm. They said Nirary Farm was for the poor, but in my village, the poor didn't get land, the prisoners did. And not just any prisoner. Many were men fresh out of lockup, handed farmland like it was a baton in a relay. But they weren't there to farm, they were there to intimidate. Election time, you'd see them posted like security guards, not for crops, for votes. Manley said it was upliftment, but we saw the real harvest. The real harvest was fear, tribal loyalty, and strong arm politics. The farm didn't build economy, it built control. Mhm. To this day, that area still echo with their legacy. Still vote orange, still move with that same kind of violent zeal, and they call that empowerment. PNP said they built housing just for the poor, but the poor couldn't get in. It was like a gated community for comrades. You paid your money every week, but unless you had the right party card, you were locked out of housing just benefits. It was like extortion. It was very bad. No benefits from housing just for people that paid. I got caught in it too. People got houses they couldn't afford. Loans were handed out like party favors, and when the bills came due, the houses turned into ghost properties, empty shells of a failed promise. It wasn't until the JLT stepped in that the system got reformed. Now, if you pay, if you pay, you qualify. No more gatekeeping, no more political favoritism, just fairness. And that's what the poor needed. Not pity, not pork barrel, just access. Fair access. Equal access. PNP's economic model was simple. Freeze the wages, raise the taxes, and hand out slogans for everybody to hear. Just keep handing out all the slogans. They presided over free zone exploitation, where workers were paid in Jamaica dollars after US dollar conversion. $8 per hour, for example. You got an $8 per hour contract, and it became $3.75 a hour reality because they bring it over, they convert it to the Jamaican and then pay as little as they can in Jamaican. While the company that came here with the idea that they would pay you a certain amount. Even in the hotel sector, the poor got the short end. The tourists paid in US dollar, but the workers got crumbs. And when the poor asked for more, the PNP said budget constraints. But when election came, they found money for flags, flyers, and rallies, and pork barrel this and that. JLP, on the other hand, raised minimum wage from 6,000 to 16,000 per week, and they are on a mission to push it into livable wage territory. No new taxes, no tricks, just growth. Mark Golding said he'd make healthcare more affordable to the poor. But when healthcare is already free, that statement becomes a threat. You can't make free more affordable unless you plan to charge. And we heard the whispers. Comrades were building private clinics, expecting to cash in if the policy shifted, which would only be if he won the election. The poor would go from free clinics to fee clinics, and they call that progress because they would make it more affordable. Come on, people. JLP expanded NHF, upgraded 138 health centers, and created 3,000 new medical positions. They didn't just talk, they built, and they kept it free because healing shouldn't come with a receipt. PNP ruled when many people couldn't read. That's not shade, that's history. Back then, slogans work better than spreadsheets, but now the poor have tablets, Wi Fi, and school buses, and suddenly the propaganda start to glitch. PNP ridiculed the school bus program, said it was wasteful. JLP said it was essential. Parents now save 180,000 a year per child. Attendance is up, safety is up, and the poor are moving, not just physically, but mentally. Education is the new resistance, and the party that fears it fears the poor becoming powerful. PNP said they'll help youth own homes, but their plan was vague, rent to own with no clear path. JLP raised loan limits, created youth first allocations, and built over 300 homes under the social housing program. They didn't just promise, they delivered, and they are planning 60,000 more. That's not symbolism, that's structure. PNP marked the JLP's tech rollout, but it's the JLP that cannot, cannot be seen as not benefiting the poor, not the PNP. I mean, the JLP is not the FinSac type. They cannot be seen that way. So as much as they mark the JLP, it's the JLP that cannot be seen as a failure for the poor. JLP connected 700 plus schools to broadband, handed out 200,000 tablets, and built 380 plus free Wi-Fi hotspots. People, PNP said rural kids were still putting phones in trees for signal. JLP said, let's fix that. Procurement is underway, labs are coming, and location will no longer determine education. PNP said they invented entertainment zones. JLP said, we built them. Harmony Beach Park, Creative Village, pension plans for artists. These aren't ideas, they are infrastructure. It's not just planning something and say you have them in your head. Like Michael Manley with all Marcus Garvey's idea and can implement one that will benefit the people. PNP talks about culture. JLP invests in it and the youth see it. They are not just partying, they are planning. JLP introduced the student loan debt reset, 100% of penalties, interest, and insurance charges wiped, 100,000 credit for good standing borrowers. Full payoff for these, the ones near completion, payoff. PNP said they would forgive loans gradually. JLP said let's start fresh. That's not just policy, it's prophecy. If the poor are always the poster child but never the beneficiary, then we are not building a nation. We are building a billboard. And if your love for the poor ends at the podium, it's not love, it's leverage. Skywalker doesn't take sides. Skywalker takes inventory. And when the receipts stack up, the truth starts to sound like bias. But bias is when you start. This. This is witnessing. That's what it is. This was a Skywalker no nonsense commentary. People, thanks for stopping by.